Incredible.
I've traveled all over, but I've never seen a city quite like this.
Denevron. The Enclave's capital city. The architecture was built to accommodate the Enclave's largest archons.
Good. I thought I'd shrunk using the Loom Gate.
The city looks as though it's been completely abandoned.
Let's break down the search. Who's got ideas?
Government and archives will establish a history. The closest government buildings can be found in the steppes. You're clearly in Upper Denevron, so according to our map, it shouldn't be far.
People need supplies. Supplies are in markets. And the market's in Lower Denevron.
And there's the bastion on the edge of the city. The military would be involved in any disaster response, and the surge certainly counts. 3 good leads. Brynn, it's your call. This must be the Atrium of Champions.
Champions?
The most accomplished weavers were honored with statues.
That statue kind of looks like you, Aurea. Could it be...
My mother, Shireen. I knew she was a celebrated weaver before the Surge, but this...
Your mother has a statue here.
I suppose she does.
Ark of the living flame. Lightly armored compared to the others, but expect things to get hot. well with a little heat.
Odd. That ark's just standing there. No sign of damage, but there's something lodged in the back plate. It's a thingy.
So technical. I'll take a look later.
If the surge hadn't hit so hard, the steps would lead to the spire. Alas. Elected representatives would convene there, including the Enclave's leader.
Imagine a time when Weavers had our own governing body.
For a band of weavers who just discovered a long-lost city, you don't look very excited.
The prospect of imminent death has put a dampener on things.
While you were out, I found a note. A warning, actually.
We suspect our Hearthsider friend snuck back into the camp.
The letter cautions us that a phenomenon referred to as the Flood is hot on our heels. The Flood is essentially a torrential wave of deadly raw magic that will completely overtake the outskirts and Denevron. Apparently this is a cyclical disaster preceded by extreme weather. Anyone caught in it will die, meaning us.
This all just sounds like more good news to me.
Seriously, do you have a death wish or something?
Is no one else seeing the silver lining here? The Hearthsider warned us. We've been questioning their motives, but clearly they want us to live.
True. But it's not like they told us how exactly we should go about surviving this impending flood of miasma.
Maybe there's something stopping them from telling us more. Or maybe they assumed we were capable enough to figure it out on our own. Still, I'd bet our scry that they want us to survive this. And more importantly, the fact that they warned us at all means we have a chance.
If this flood is cyclical, it means the Hearthsiders are surviving it somehow. Maybe they have a safe haven on high ground, or enchantments of some kind. All this means is we need to track down the Hearthsiders now more than ever. As though
our lives depend on it.
Yeah, that.
I have asked our third friend to join us since he demonstrated such insight with the Loom Gates.
It was just a lucky guess.
Nonsense. The Loom Gate works. Enough said.
Gents, the, thingy?
Dom said you found it attached to an arc. One that was shut down.
No sign of damage, but this part came off easily.
It's safe to assume it wasn't part of the original construction then. The arcs are famously durable.
Brynn, think back. How does it compare to the arc we found outside the Veil?
Exactly the same. Completely motionless. At least, at first.
We should take another look at our newest friend then. Care to do the honors?
Same place? Same place. Well observed, Sev. You were correct.
Just a lucky guess.
Up. No more of that. Lady, gentlemen, I think we can confidently assert conspiracy.
Two devices does start a pattern.
And a pattern that must predate the Surge, since we found a device that was outside the Veil.
True. That gives us a what and a when, but leaves a whom, a how, and a why.
And how many arcs have been affected?
It does follow that if we found two, there could be more.
I'll keep an eye out for tampered arcs.
Some may have restarted on their own, like the one we followed through the Veil.
They're going to fight back, aren't they?
It does seem to be our luck, yes. Oh, the architecture in Denevron is simply magnificent.
The architecture in Denevron is stunning. It's clear that the Enclave builders were talented. What I wouldn't give to meet them. To think crafters here had stability in their lives, mentors to learn from, and the ability to focus purely on their craft. Such a luxury. And it shows in their work.
Not all weavers chose to make the Enclave their home. It makes me wonder if we romanticize it.
I'm sure we do, to some degree. Still, to have a place to return to after long adventures must have been nice.
Denevron was home to so many before. I wish I could have seen it full of weavers.
Who knows? Maybe Brynn of Carnhaven will go down in history as the one to restore the Enclave to what it once was.
I like your optimism.
If you succeed, I suppose we'll all have a choice to make.
What choice is that?
Do we stick to life on the road? Or do we put down roots?
Brynn, I'm worried. We keep pushing deeper into the Enclave. When do you think we'll start working on a way out of here?
We're the first people through the Veil in almost half a century. Don't you think it's worth taking a look around before rushing out?
For all we know, the Halfsiders are sending the Arcs to attack us. What makes you think we're welcome here?
Welcome or not, we still need to find out what's happened after the Surge.
You're right. It's not like we have a way out, anyway.
Out in the field, you mentioned you recognize the sudden change in weather.
The same rapid shifts racked Tarza shortly after the Surge. The deserts had been somewhat tamed by enchanted stones, the aeroliths. Each kingdom would boast they had the greatest coverage. Ironically, while the Tarzan nobility were bragging they each had more, the real concentration of them was in Judea. That did not end well.
Let me guess. Something awful happened to them after the Surge.
The enchantments cascaded out of control. One would skew the weather too far, others would react.
Like a pendulum swing, but getting stronger.
Yes, rapid and extreme. Just like what we're seeing here. Thankfully, this means they should be somewhat predictable. The more we learn about each locale, the better we'll be able to predict the changes.
So, keep exploring and wear my warm pants now and then. Can do. How are you feeling about this whole Archon sabotage investigation, Sev?
I am unsettled. The thought of Arcs being smuggled out of the Enclave makes me wonder what else was happening just before the Surge.
It's pretty clear they were up to some stuff wildly over their collective heads. But don't worry, Sev. We're going to figure it out. Lane's going to write the book.
You're right. It's just the implications of an Arc being smuggled out. Was someone trying to reverse engineer how they were built? And if so, who?
The best way to put those worries to bed is to keep searching.
I must ask, to step from here all the way to the capital, what did it feel like?
Arriving in the city felt exhilarating, I guess. If that's what you mean.
No. Denevron's amazing, we know. I'm asking about the sensation of being transported such a distance. So far, you'd only done tiny hops through the loom gates. Was there any notable difference crossing hundreds of leagues?
Truthfully, there wasn't much of a sensation at all. A flash of light and I was in Denevron. That's it.
Oh, I see. I guess I was hoping for a little more. It's all right. There will be bigger discoveries.
If you're lucky, maybe on the 100th time through, I'll get unspooled.
That would not be ideal. Though it would be interesting.
Denevron is a treasure trove for any lawkeeper. The history this place contains. It's almost overwhelming, or it would be for a lesser academic.
But not for you.
No. Certainly I can parse through decades of lost tomes and solve the greatest mystery of our time. What happened to the Enclave? Why wouldn't I succeed where other researchers who have spent far longer immersed in Weaver culture have failed?
Well, you've certainly got something they don't.
I do?
Me? Kidding! You've got access to the Enclave.
That's exactly it, isn't it? It's the opportunity of a lifetime. What if I don't make the most of it?
All you can do is try. It's all any of us can do.
I suppose you're right. After seeing the spire, I can't help but wonder how effective the Enclave's governance was. Did their system work? Was it better than what we have across the Maida? Many questions present themselves.
Do any answers present themselves?
Well, we have the raw facts. If I recall correctly, their government was run by a council that varied in size through the years. At the top of the pecking order were the eye, the spindle, and the axle, all representatives voted in by the council members or various guilds. The documentation currently available to me is rather lacking in detail, though. The succession processes, for example, are unclear.
How's it compared to what you have at home?
Undoubtedly more functional, I'll give it that. The Udean Federation is, to put it plainly, a mess. To the point where our unofficial national dish is a specially prepared meringue that lasts approximately 10 seconds before collapsing.
You all right?
I know we're talking politics, but truth be told, all I can think about now is food.
Kaz might have gathered some herbs. You could try sweet-talking her into mixing something up.
In that case, I think I'll go bother her for dinner. You can't do archival work on an empty stomach, after all. One moment, Brynn. I just need to write this down. Stir twice clockwise, filter the sediment, put it aside for Darm's moisturizing cream. Good. Now, did I forget something when last we spoke? I was after more ink caps and sprigs of Diane's chorus, yes? Did I lack specificity in my request?
No, I'm still on it. Don't worry. I know we chatted before, but I wanted to learn more about you.
Well, I came from Judea. You already know that. I'm an enthusiastic student of the alchemical arts. Oh, there's more to my family. I'm my father's third child, but I have 3 siblings. I was fairly close to 2 of them. The firstborn is 12 years older than me and never had much interest in being friends.
Was that hard on you?
It was normal to be in that situation, I'd say. By the time I was old enough to hold a conversation, he was already playing the political game. Took after my mother in that regard. Hold on, I need to write something down. To do. Investigate why Sola keeps borrowing moisturizing cream from Darm instead of coming to me to get her own.
Big list of tasks you've got there.
Like you wouldn't believe.
I've never been to Judea. Can you tell me more about what it was like to grow up there?
Brynn, respectfully, I like to think I'm an open book, but as I said, I have quite a big list of tasks to complete. You do, too. Let's try and make a dent, shall we?
Of course. Catch you later. Sev mentioned something about Judea using aerialists like Taza.
That's true, yes. It was well before my time, but they are not well regarded in our history.
What happened to them?
You're aware Judea had legendary trade fleets that made it the richest federation in the Maida?
Yes, but not since the... Oh.
It turns out when you rely on magic to keep your harbors safe, and magic itself breaks in something like the Surge, there's a price to be paid.
Lane, any thoughts on why the mayor of Poldervale kept a key swatch to Denevron in his home?
Not personally, but I do know what the Poldervale Watch suspected about it.
Really? How?
At the back of the logbook, those on watch would leave small notes for whoever was taking over the next shift. Most of it appears to be idle gossip, but apparently popular belief was that the mayor had a mistress on the side.
Ah, a wife in Poldervale and a mistress in Denevron.
Instantaneous travel would be necessary to not get caught.
Goodness. Small towns are the same everywhere, aren't they?
What is there to do in them but talk?
Not to complain, but there's actually too much magic out here.
Like a thick fog when it really settles in.
Aha! Another thingy.
So, what was it like? Exploring Denevron.
It's like nostalgia for something I've never lived. Even abandoned, the architecture is beautiful, but I don't know. I just have this longing to see it filled with weavers.
I know the feeling. Still, I can't help but be a little jealous that you're walking its streets. Even abandoned.
You'll be back out there soon enough. How's the wing feeling these days?
Oh, getting better all the time, don't worry about me.
$33, $34, $35, $36. Gods, we'll need more than that.
Everything all right?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I just can't shake this feeling that we're not prepared.
Prepared for what?
I don't know. Maybe the masked figure stalking you, or the hostile archons at every turn, or... Sorry, I'm doing it again. This isn't on you.
It's all good, but maybe you should take a break. After all, we can't plan for everything.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what we always said at sea.
Right. Lane mentioned you joined the Udean relief efforts.
Ever the gossip, aren't they? Yeah. At 16, I left on Brynn with a trading company to help.
Wow. Isn't 16 pretty young for relief work?
I wanted to go at 15, but it took a year to convince my parents.
I can hardly believe they let you.
After months of begging, I wore them down. I loved life on the water. The rhythm of running a ship. The sun in your face during the day. The waves rocking you to sleep at night. And we were helping people. I think I miss the smell of the ocean the most.
Life on the ocean sounds pretty nice. I've always dreamed of sailing on a ship. Never had the opportunity, though.
I could take you sailing someday if you'd like.
I'd like that a lot.
My seafaring days feel pretty far behind me now. It's been a few years since I left to join Aurea.
Why did you stop?
Always mouths to feed. Critical supply shortages. Not just materials, but medicine. It felt like I could never do enough. So I walked away. I still feel guilty, though.
You probably helped more people in those years than many do in a lifetime. Needing to step away from the work doesn't erase all the good you did. There's nothing to feel guilty about.
I guess you're right. I just wish there was a way to turn off the little voice in my head telling me I should have done more.
Well, I'm happy to have a stern word with it anytime you like.
Thanks. I'd better get back to work, but this talk helped.
We will never replace it all. How could I have been so careless?